Doing it on your own, this is a very, very big, I would literally say it's a fantasy. Okay, people want to do this. Like self study has a huge amount of pride. I did it myself, I didn't get any coaching. But we don't have examples. There are two problems with this. We don't have examples of people, enough examples of people who cleared it on their own in their first attempt without coaching. Secondly, we don't have enough without any form of coaching. People take coaching at some point or the other. Then the second thing is people say this to justify that they can do it on their own without evidence and without track record, that I will work hard and do it. Okay. And this is much more than hard work. You can work hard at cutting wood, you can work hard at decorating your house, but which direction will you work hard in is going to determine the results. You work hard in studying, and you might end up studying for many hours and not retaining anything because the material is not good enough or the material is not taking you in the right direction. And the nearest evidence you can come up with is the fact that you've been a topper in school, where 1 in 100, maybe you were second out of 100 people, first out of 300 people. Many people say they are toppers if they're in top 5 out of their batch or their class or top 10. Those data, that data is way too little for telling you that you can crack the judiciary exam. If there are lakhs of candidates contesting and even 50 seats, okay, your pass rate will go below 0.001. So if you are a topper in 10,000, top person rank 1 in 10,000, then you can say, I can do this on my own. I can accept that evidence. But there's a problem with that. Your school didn't have, or college doesn't have that many people. Okay. Plus, you had a fixed syllabus. You had exactly clear direction on what to study and what to read. And you worked hard at that. For judiciary exams, that is missing. Clarity of syllabus, scope of syllabus, subjects are written down, but clarity, scope, width, all of that is unpredictable. Prescribed textbooks are not there. Board exams have that prescribed, right? College classroom, your college exams have it prescribed that, okay, this is the syllabus. You know that this is what was taught in the class, so whatever comes will be from around these topics. Scope is infinitely smaller. When the scope is vast, when the prescribed materials are not there, it is basically uncertain and indeterminate what will come. Okay, uncertainty increases, which means that who will succeed and who will not, that becomes very unclear. A lot of people find it difficult to perform under uncertain circumstances and where the scope of work is uncertain. The other advice you receive, all you need to do is solve past year's papers, read bare acts and guidebooks. Okay, so this is there, right? A lot of you say that, okay, I'm in my first year, second year, third year, or whatever. I'm in my fifth year, I'm solving the past year papers, I'm reading the bare acts. And after all, this is what they've asked for. I've checked all the judiciary question papers. They will ask me a case on something on something on case law, something on bare act, or some application which I will figure out from the bare act, or a textbook. And past year's papers, I will see to understand what is there, right? So technically, on the face of it, I can say this and get away with it. Okay. But really tell me that, can you read the Delhi land laws or UP land laws, or can you read the civil procedure code and understand it by reading the bare acts? Can you read a guidebook and understand the civil procedure code? If you can, great. Is there anybody who can do that? I haven't found people doing that. Okay, because the civil procedure code wasn't drafted in a way that you can understand it. People are able to remember TV shows way better than they can remember the civil procedure code. You might watch a Netflix show for 45 minutes, but remember it way better than you will remember the civil procedure code provision. Even one long provision, after having spent 1 hour on it, you may remember it more poorly than what you will remember from a Netflix TV show. So why is that? Because there is a certain science in the way that one reads, understands, and processes information to be able to learn it. It's not a guidebook's concern, and it's not a bare act's concern for that to enable you to handle that. That job, the purpose of a bare act is to lay down the law for the country to be followed. 20 different stakeholders, whether it's the lawmaker, whether it's a law firm partner, or it's an associate, or it's a senior counsel, or it's a judge. Each category of persons will look at the law completely differently, interpret it for different purposes. Okay, how do you interpret it for the judiciary exam? How do you learn it? How do you learn to reproduce it? How do you learn to expand on it? If you look at the mains papers, they will give you questions and ask you to illustrate. Okay, a lot of this requires you. So they'll give you some quote or some excerpt from a case or a section and say illustrate and explain these. Now you will have to pull, stretch, bend your memory in so many different ways to be able to do that. And while studying, if you read it but you didn't practice those exercises, you can't do it. It's like this: when you're doing a workout, what do you need to do a split? You need to just spread and bend down, right? Spread your legs and bend down. But you can perform a split. But can you do it? How much training does it need? People do months of training to do a split, okay, in a workout. So the question is that this is not the answer, that this is sufficient to do it, because lakhs of people will be doing exactly this. How will they ensure that they get ahead? For sure, nobody is going to invent law, right? In the judiciary exam, law is there, statutes are there, case laws are there. Another advice you get: work hard and you will crack it. Okay, now it's almost like all hard work is sufficient to lead you to success. There are so many people who work hard and don't crack it. So many people who don't work as hard as and they crack it. Then what do? You blame it on luck. Okay, so is it a question of working hard? Is it a question of luck? Or is it the question of the quality of your work? Right? The question you ask about your preparation is very important. And today you can ask your question, because you've not given the exam right now. At least there is one exam coming up. After you give the exam, if you experience defeat or failure, it becomes very, very hard to objectively look at what went off. Becomes very hard to identify the gap. Today it is not so hard. Why? Because today you have the option to change the direction of your preparation. Later you won't have it. There's so much free content available. So take coaching later, consume all the free content. There's already so much material. Definitely, okay, you have all the free content available. Question is this: are you able to sequentially progress and complete your preparation? Or are you consuming content without direction? And are you being able to figure out how much you're retaining? If you're not, then there's a problem. Right? And the biggest challenge in judiciary prep is this: dealing with information overload. Okay, so it's this: in the exam, I am not going to be tested on what I don't get marks for having studied the most number of hours. I get marks for answering the questions right. So I may have whatever information I got, am I able to reproduce it? Information overload does not allow me to do that. I need the practice of reproducing, creating, writing the right kind of answers, selecting the information in my mind, absorbing the information. I need practice of that. Okay, so I need to narrow down, focus my study. If I deal with information overload, I'm going to get tired very fast, maybe in 2-3 hours, 4 hours. If I want to stick to a 14-hour or a 12-hour schedule, which is necessary if you're starting study in 4th year, 5th year, or after graduation, or giving a subsequent attempt. And if you're starting earlier, you will need anywhere between 5 to 8 hours of study from 1st to 3rd year. Okay, now if you're doing that, then you will need to, if you want to consistently do this, you need a direction in which you go forward. Then this is a very important one. ABC is not needed now means ABC could be anything. Okay. Subjective answer writing. You don't need to do this now. 4th year, you learn legal writing in college. After you clear the mains, after you clear the prelims, you can prepare for the mains. We'll give you special sessions for that. After you clear the mains, then we'll give you special interview training practice. Okay. Now I'll give you an example from class 11 SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, the SAT preparation. This test is for admission to US universities. So this, one second. So if you want to study abroad after class 12, then you give this exam. And based on the marks that you get in the SAT exam, you get admission in colleges. The best textbooks, the most expensive ones, always tell you look at even GMAT textbooks. They how much responsibility do they take for your improvement? They will say that you can improve your score after reading this book by 100 to 150 points, sometimes 200 points. Okay, if you are somebody who is going to get in a 1600 SAT, if you are getting 1000, you may be able to get to 1150. If you want to get the best colleges, you will need like 1500. Okay, so how do you get that? That the responsibility is not being taken by the book. Okay, now this they know over there, because over there, the liability principles are very strong. Customers, consumers ask them that how much can I really expect to get ahead? And why do they not take more responsibility? Because from one book, from a limited set of work, which is last minute, over 2 months, 3 months, you can only expect to improve in a finite, very small amount. And they quantify that. If you do this for a long period of time, okay, that much information is not there in those books. And they admit that. So they say that if you want to improve, let's say, your reading comprehension skills, okay, or your verbal reasoning skills, then you will need to actually do a long term study outside the scope of the book and see your score improve in 6 months or 1 year, which is where the problem is. People aren't able to do that. So you will find out that people who've been naturally reading way more content, way more information are faster. Those who've not been doing that are slower. But what's the game? The real important part is that somebody who can't do things fast needs to be able, or somebody who's not able to absorb information needs to be able to do that. And that responsibility the last minute book doesn't take. But here, what are we doing? And for judiciary, we are saying last minute. We are using the last minute content to say that we will substantively prepare from here. And what is happening is that last minute book options works, how Hindu Succession Act works. Okay, how I can create a will where I cannot create a will. If I'm reading a local laws textbook, my internet connection is unstable. Hang on. If I'm reading a local laws textbook, I can't see the connection of testamentary laws with local laws. I don't find those interconnections being made. Now, the problem when I don't get those interconnections is my brain cannot learn it. Okay, tell me if you're able to identify with these. Okay. Now, what is the connection with the advice? The connection with the advice is that you are saying that if you don't do something now and you don't give yourself a long period of time to master it, your personality, the interview test is called a personality test. How will your personality improve? You will do some cosmetic surgery. You can dress up well, you can dress up better in the last minute, but can you substantively improve the substance of the person you are? Can you improve your maturity level with respect to the legal industry? Okay, how will you do that with respect to the court process? Because you have to the interview. For the mains exam, how will you actually prepare answering? If you have 2 months to prepare, how will you actually, will you restudy all the syllabus again? That first I only studied for MCQs, so I can't write the answers now I'm going to study again. And there's such a big difference between the depth of knowledge required for prelims and mains. So if I'm studying for prelims, it's like this, that I'm preparing to run the first 10 kilometers of the marathon. That's it. I'll come first there. But what happens after that? 10 to 40 is the race also, right? So how do I do the remaining 30? Okay. Now, any advice which says that you don't need to do something right now in a competitive exam where everybody will be competing with you and you've got to get as good as possible.